in Marvel Comics Presents number 6. I mean, we haven't seen her again. I don't know why people are that introduced. The idea of a clone of Wolverine called X-23. So then, hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're looking at box number 103. We're going to continue with series that start with the word Marvel. We are going to finish up Marvel Comics Presents. We're going to get to a few things. We're going to get into Marvel Knights, and then there'll be a few things after that. It's going to be a good time. Please like and comment and subscribe, and that always helps the channel. And hey, let's get going with box 103 here on Glenn Simpson's Comics. All right, we are continuing our journey through Marvel Comics Presents. Each issue has 3 or 4 stories in it. Sometimes we can kind of tell from the cover who's in it and who's not. Sometimes we can't. But anyway, so 133, we've got Ghost Rider, Cage, and Cloak and Dagger. Then we jump to 140, we've got Ghost Rider and Iron Fist and the Masters of Silence, which was a little known group. As always, if you'd like to see more of a series, what's being skipped, just leave a comment and we'll look into making that video for you. So that's 140. Got 141, more Iron Fist, more Ghost Rider, probably some other stuff in there. Let's see, we've got, okay, this isn't coming out very good. As always, these actually look a little bit better on the camera than they do in real life, but we've got some Scarlet Witch in 143. In this dark cover, Siege of Darkness cover. Let's see, we've got 144, Vengeance, the sort of side character, additional Ghost Rider type character, and this isn't really a key, it's just an more expensive book, but it is part of the Siege of Darkness, which is why you get this really hard to see cover. Got 145, more Siege of Darkness, Morbius by Steve Lytle, grooving right along. I think these guys already had series, so this was like an additional story, I think, in addition to what was going on in their regular series. 145, 148, more Vengeance, a little bit better view of them if you didn't know what he looked like. Right there. $149, more Vengeance. His wacky looking motorcycle. $152. There was a series of covers. I posted this. By the time you see this, it'll have gone by a bit, but on my Instagram, this is actually connecting covers. I never realized it before, but until I was looking at them the other day. So it's kind of cool. 152. Eventually, we'll start seeing, the other. Oh wait, sorry. Duh. Wolverine, War Machine, Moon Knight, and Vengeance all have stories in this issue. But we just get to see Vengeance on this side of the cover. Vengeance and the Destroyer, Shang-Chi, New Warriors. Getting stories here along with part of that Vengeance. Vengeance didn't have his own book, so that's why he was getting such much of a spotlight. 157, Nick Fury on the cover. Inside, we have Vengeance and Shang-Chi and New Warriors. Shang-Chi. Gosh, the numbers on these are hard to read. 160? Yeah, 160. Got to look down here. 160, Vengeance, Hawkeye, Mace. I don't remember who Mace is. New Warriors. Some characters were created for these series, and there was a hope that they would take off, and they didn't. Vengeance and Hawkeye and Mace and New Warriors all continue in this issue. 164. Got a Tigra. So, got both a Man-Thing and a Thing story here in this issue. 165, Vengeance and Tigra, Man-Thing, and Mr. Fantastic. There. I don't know, at least we're getting some more non-Vengeance visuals. Vengeance and Stingray, Black Bolt, and Spider-Woman. Okay, so War Machine must be guesting in the actual Vengeance story. Stingray. I like Stingray's suit. Alright, 163. 169, rather. Yeah, 169. Vengeance and Mandarin and Forceworks. And It, the Living Colossus. A gigantic stone statue that comes to life. A paraplegic man is able to send his mind into the body of the huge statue. And he's a superhero. 171. Big boy books. 171. Vengeance and Nick Fury and Forceworks. We're getting down to 3 stories. Give them a little more space. We've got 172. Vengeance and Lunatic. Forceworks. We got U.S. Agent John Walker, as seen in the Thunderbolts movie, in one of his earlier costumes. Got 174. Vengeance and Lunatic, Excalibur, and Nick Fury. There. And that series ends with 175, with Vengeance and Lunatic, and a couple of Steel Raven and New Genix, a couple of series that didn't really pop, if you will. There. So they brought the name back, and I get this confused with some other stuff, but I think these were some stories that had been published digital first, and then they released them in print. That may be true. It may or may not be true of this series, may or not be true of the next one we look at, but I think one or the other or both of them, that's the case. So, we got Marvel Comics Presents number 1. Through 4. Weapon Omega, wearing the suit of Vindicator / Guardian. This is actually another guy who, after the House of M, when Scarlet Witch got rid of all of the mutants, got it down to like 198, all of that energy apparently had to go somewhere, and it all went into one guy, just one regular guy, and he gained these powers that were, he could barely control, and he became Weapon Omega. And I think the suit was, to help him control those powers. We've got issue 5 with the Kazar cover, doing his Tarzan thing. And this version ends with issue 12. There, got Man-Thing, Machine Man. I guess that's a Vanguard. I don't remember that version of Vanguard. Then we have another series called Marvel Comics Presents, issue 1. There, celebrating 80 years. Arthur Adams beauty covers on a lot of these. There, issue 1 through issue 4. Wolverine, Moon Knight, Spider-Man, not all in the one same story. Okay, so then we have issue 5, which has Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Venom. And it has the first cameo of Rien, who is a daughter of Wolverine, with powers and whatnot. This is just a cameo in this one. And then people are paying big bucks for her first full appearance in Marvel Comics Presents number 6. I mean, we haven't seen her again. I don't know why people are that excited about it, but she's the daughter of Wolverine, so hey, that's all you need to know. So Marvel Comics Presents number 6 right there. Then we got issue 7, Iron Man, Winter Soldier. There. Got issue 9. There, and that is actually the one where they ended that one, so there you go. And we have, okay, so this is, the formal title of this is Marvel Comics Super Special, so that's why it's filed the way it is. And they did these for various movies. A lot of times when Marvel would adapt movies, you would get like several different formats. You would get maybe a big tabloid and or a comic size. But this is one for the movie Blade Runner that came out around at that time. There's only one of these I've got. I think you'll find these for Moonraker or whatever, some James Bond movies and things like that. And a very recent book, we've got Deadpool-Batman number 1. This is of course because Deadpool's name is first, this is the one that was published by Marvel. Got this Magic and Catwoman variant cover. Good times. Good times. Ooh. Alright, then we get Marvel Divas. The 4-part series revealing that these 4 ladies, Black Cat, Firestar, Photon, and Hellcat, get together and hang out on a regular basis, and which you never knew before. And got a J. Scott Campbell cover on there. And these ladies have an adventure. There's issue 1. We've got issue 2 there through issue 4. There we go. Can't remember. It looks like they're fighting either vampires or some Asgardian stuff. Marvel double feature. I don't have a lot of these. I picked this one up at some point. So this was reprinting older Captain America and Iron Man stories. They're reprinting them from the point in time when they were both sharing books with other characters. So they only had, short chapters instead of it being a full size. So it's kind of taking what was already a shared double feature and putting these two together instead of who they were. I think Iron Man was with Namor and Captain America was with Nick Fury, maybe? And those like Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish, those kinds of things. So issue 14 though features, hey, it's Red Skull, Scully. Got this is Marvel Double Shot. Just a little 2-story for each character, or one two stories in each issue, one for each character. Thing that they were trying out. Joe Jusko, great painted art. Had his own line of painted art trading cards for Marvel at one point. So issue 1 has Thor and Hulk through issue 4, Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Marvel 85th Anniversary Special, recent book. For those who are new here or haven't heard me say this before, I follow the old Overstreet process for alphabetizing when it comes to numbers, which is that I treat them as if they were spelled out as letters. So this is Marvel E for 80, that kind of thing. 85th. That's that. Which is why the next one is Marvel F, Marvel Fanfare. So Marvel Fanfare started off. It was direct sales only at a time when you still had newsstand and direct. It was supposed to be these really, special high-end stories that were created just for the book. Unfortunately, after a while, it kind of turned into a place for them to use what we called inventory stories, which were stories that had been written and drawn and just kind of stuck in a desk in case the regular series that they were drawn for got behind. They got behind on deadlines and they needed to give everybody a month to get caught up. They could just slot in that story that was already done, kind of a done-in-one story. So they kind of wound up burning through some of those. But in theory, this first one, Marvel Fanfare, Spider-Man and the X-Men in the Savage Land in the first issue, Mike Golden, beauty art, issue 1. Issue 4, I actually had issue 4, was probably my first issue of this series, and I had it for years and years, and so it took me a long time before I got 1 through 3. Right there, Kazar, Storm. Issue 5, we've got a Doctor Strange. A lot of it was done in one. In fact, some of it has 2 stories, but kind of depends on what they had going on. Lots of funny. It had no ads, and which is why it was a little pricier. And Al Milgrom was the editor, and he would draw little funny cartoons, like on the inside front cover of himself, and explaining, you know, why that what telling us about the story, kind of a host telling us about the stories we were going to see. That's issue 5. I believe this is Doctor Strange, kind of in a Old West, you know, younger magician comes into town and wants to try his luck against the Sorcerer Supreme. Issue 8. More Doctor Strange. I think there's other stuff in between. I think that just worked out that way. There. Issue 9. Got a Man-Thing story. Through issue 12. So this was a classic. This was George Perez doing I think it was going to be a graphic novel. So again, things getting repurposed. Graphic novel for Black Widow, and it just never got published. So it was finally it got broken up into chapters and published in Marvel Fanfare. And so that's issue 12, which has, you know, one of the parts of that. And then issue 13 continues that story. For some reason, Perez wasn't able to do the cover, so Arthur Adams winds up doing the cover for this part of the storyline. Got issue 16. What were they? These were like the Skyhawks or something like that. It was very much like the Blackhawks, an aerial team, each one, or maybe like G.I. Joe. You know, everybody's got their kind of their theme, and but they're all pilots and they're all fighting Nazis. Issue 16. Some more of this. Dave Cockrum doing the series. Very interesting looking planes there. I guess, I don't know if that would, I assume those would really fly. Make sure I don't lose focus here. Issue 20. Jim Starlin doing The Thing. There. Oop. Issue 21. Jim Starlin continues bringing in Doctor Strange and the Hulk, That Thing story. Issue 24. P. Craig Russell doing Weird World, which was kind of a Dungeons and Dragons-y, Lord of the Rings-y kind of thing. I believe we had first seen that in one of the actually one like Marvel Premiere or whatever, or one of those that we're actually going to see in a little while in this video or the next. And so continuing the adventures of these little elves-y, hobbits-y characters. Got Pat Broderick, who did the originals, I believe, and so and I think there was something funny about this guy. His appearance changes between the two issues because the two artists, like, he's doing it the original way and he's doing it. He didn't know that they were going to use that. I don't know, something like that. They again, they were kind of pulling stuff out of a drawer. Issue 25. Issue 28, some Alpha Flight goodness, featuring North Star, Ken Stacy. Wonder whatever happened to Ken Stacy. He had that very just cartoony, not cartoony, it was very like 3D almost look to his work. Very interesting. Issue 29. So what was the interesting bit about this was it was John Byrne, and the entire story is told. Every page of the story is a one whole page. It's like 23, 22 panels to tell the whole story, because every panel is a full page. So that was a thing. 32, Captain America versus Yellow Claw. I think they were still calling him Yellow Claw at the time. It hadn't yet become racially insensitive. 33. So this one was, again, pulling it out of a drawer. There had been a computer game called Quest Probe very early on in the world of computer games, and Quest Probe had done three or four versions of the game, one with Spider-Man and one with the Hulk or something like that. And so there had been a version of Quest Probe that featured the X-Men, and each version had a comic book. Well, let me rephrase that. They were going to do a version with the X-Men, and each version of the game came with a comic that was the main characters of the game, with the main character from the comics. So anyway, basically the X-Men one didn't get done. So again, the X-Men comic had got put in a drawer. So it winds up being published here. Got some Asgardian stuff. Warriors 3 and 37. This runs for a few issues. Charles Bess doing some beautiful art. Got issue 40. We've got a David Mazzucchelli of Batman Year One fame, doing an Angel story. There. Issue 41. Got Doctor Strange going up against Nightmare, drawn by Dave Gibbons, known for Watchmen and other things. Some more Ken Stacy here. Ken Stacy. Iron Man. I think this is where he fights Dr. Octopus. There. Issue 45. So each of these issues would frequently have some pinups in the back, and just to pad out the issue if the story wasn't long enough. And a lot of people just basically said, hey, why don't you just give us an issue with just pinups? And so that's what issue 45 is. John Byrne does this cover, but it's nothing but every page is a pinup of Marvel characters. So there you go. Issue 48. We've got a She-Hulk story there. Issue 49. We've got Doctor Strange heading into the Old West. Got issue 52. 3-part story. So Black Knight, Dane Whitman, who lives in the present, swaps minds with his ancestor, who was a crusader, and has to deal with with what's going on in the Crusades. I can't remember how politically correct this one was either. Might not have been. 53 there, and 55 Power Pack teaming up with Magic and Warlock. Magic and Warlock. I never thought of that before. And then as we approach the end of the series, I think it's just they began printing fewer and they became scarcer. We've got Chiodo doing covers for this Shiana, the she-devil, Shiana being a jungle queen who winds up. I think she started off on her own, and then they paired her up with Kazar, and they fell in love. This is issue 56. Issue 57. The Chiodo cover on there. Got a Photon, or she may have still been Captain Marvel at the time. Story in there. Another Chiodo painted cover. We've got a Vision and Scarlet Witch story in there as well. '59. Chiodo. Got Hellcat and Son of Satan, who also were two separate characters who got put together and fell in love. And then the series ends with 60, which I don't know why this is not as pricey as the previous ones. Maybe it's because of the Good Girl covers. But we got a Black Panther story and a Rogue story. Maybe if Rogue had been the central focus of the cover. Got Walt Simonson and Dennis Cowan doing the cover there. Also, my copy is in just in fine condition, so that might be also why. So then years later, they brought it back briefly. The Marvel Fanfare. This was one of their 99-cent books they experimented with, just trying to see if lowering the price would generate increased sales, and the fact that none of those series lasted very long tells me that lowering the price did not, in fact, increase sales by significantly. So this issue has a Captain America and Falcon story in it, as we can see, and the series ran through issue 6 with Sabretooth and Power Man and Iron Fist, which, of course, Sabretooth first appeared in Iron Fist's old series. It's before he ever got kind of associated with mutants and Wolverine and things like that. So this was kind of a throwback to that. Then we've got, so I don't remember why I've got this here. Hang on, I'll tell you. Nope, still don't know. I think it's because this, because this is from Marvel Feature. It's a reprint of one issue of Marvel Feature. And so it's kind of stuck in here as the, because it's like a facsimile. They just didn't put the original title, because this was when one of the Ant-Man movies was coming out, and they were just, making sure that to get some more stuff out there for people who were interested based on the movie. So it's a reprint of a Marvel Feature storyline. And I know that because, hey look, here's some more Marvel Feature. I think this is the second Marvel Feature series. And I just got a couple of these. This would again rotate through various characters and things. But this is actually an original, and it's all new from the creator of Conan. Issue 2. And issue 3. Right there. And we've got the Marvel Fumetti book. So Fumetti was something I guess they did in, Italian comics more, given that it's called Fumetti. I don't know. But the notion is using photographs instead of art to tell the story. And so this is, they went through and they did little short gags with the Marvel staff using photographs. The problem is that the reproduction was not that great, so it's kind of muddy and hard to see what you're looking at. But there you go. They did this one shot and never did it again. We have Marvel Heroes and Legends. Don't know what why these existed, but they just did these one-shots of a couple of these one-shots. Marvel Heroes and Legends, telling stories of Marvel Heroes. The first one, they aren't even really numbered. They just did it twice. See, it's just what year did they do it in? Marvel Heroes and Legends, 1997. Marvel H. We continue with Marvel H. Marvel Holiday Special. Arthur Adams. There. This wraparound cover. Another Marvel Holiday Special. Or Arthur Adams. So this one doesn't have a board. You can get to see the rest of that. Another Marvel Holiday Special. There. Another Marvel Holiday Special. So this one doesn't have the word Marvel on it, and actually I had it misfiled at one point, so I looked at it again, but apparently it's Marvel Holiday Tales to Astonish, so got it moved over to here. Just another various heroes engaging in Christmas or Hanukkah oriented or other December holidays activities. All right. So now we get into Marvel Knights. Now, Marvel Knights was primarily an imprint of Marvel. It was Joe Quesada, Jimmy Palmiotti, and running it and doing some of the work and bringing in other people. And it was a lot of the more street characters, street fighting characters, are just done in a very darker way than the main line. And sometimes characters would have a story in both, a series running in both places. And so, and I don't know if it would be fair to say that the Marvel Knights stuff wasn't canon. I don't know that it just got referenced all that much. But I don't know that it really was anything in there that was just so incredibly, couldn't happen in the main continuity, just factually speaking. But along the way, in addition to it being other, various series with just little Marvel Knights up in the corner, they actually did a couple of series called Marvel Knights, which was like a team book. So, and it came out very similar. It was years before, but it came out very similar to the Netflix, Daredevil, Luke Cage, that kind of thing. So we've got Marvel Knights number 1. With Daredevil, we have Marvel Knights number 7 with Cloak and Dagger. There. Got Marvel Knights 8. Doctor Strange. It kind of makes it look like it's an anthology, but I believe they were all, interacting. Issue 8. Issue 12. Got Power Man and Moon Knight. Issue 13. Nick Fury, or a LMD, or Life Model Decoy, aka an android. And 15, we have Daredevil and Punisher. Maybe that first arc was all the heroes, teaming up, ending up in like that Cloak and Dagger one. But then after that, they just did individual stories. I'd have to look at it again. But that's that. So that series ended there. And then they tried it again. Briefly. This definitely has all the characters, together. Issue 1 through issue 6. Right there. Then earlier we had Marvel Double Shot. This is Marvel Knights Double Shot. So same idea, just only Marvel Knights characters. And issue 1 there, violent content. Glenn Fabry doing the cover. Interesting way of, okay, cool. Through issue 4. There. And get to Marvel Knights 4. So this was a Fantastic Four series that ran alongside the regular one. And again, just told a little bit darker tinged stories there. Issue 1 right there. Most of the stories had these, or issues had these beauty covers. So at this point, I could not tell you remember what was going on in them. That's issue 1 through issue 8. I'm sure that had something to do with it. I believe this tied into the notion that it was the Submariner who found Captain America frozen in the ice, but didn't recognize him because of all his mental issues, and had thrown him into the water. And then there's a Captain America series that deals with that, but given that this is called Frozen and it's got Namor in it, I think that this ties into that as well. Issue 8. Issue 9. They're Fantastic Four. If you're just looking for some beautiful Fantastic Four covers, Marvel Knights 4 is your place to go. Through issue 16. There. For you Doctor Doom fans, issue 17. There. And the whole thing wraps up. No, not quite yet. But we have the Fantastic Four dealing with the Impossible Man, kind of an alien imp with shape-shifting powers. 24, Steve Rude cover. Not Steve Rude. No, not Steve Rude. Sorry. Mike Allred. issue 30. Right there. So, you even got Herbie. There you go. What could you ask for? Alright, then there was this like Wizard magazine special edition for Marvel Knights. Little preview kind of thing. There. We get to Marvel Knights Spider-Man. Terry Dodson doing covers, so it's beautiful, especially since when Black Cat is on the cover. Issue 1 through issue 4. There, Mark Millar doing the writing. Issue 5 through issue 8. Some Venom there. That I think this is the Mac Gargan, the former Scorpion, wearing the suit. When he's got kind of the things that come down like that, I think that's Mac Gargan. I'm not a Venom expert, but I think that's right. Issue 9. Spider-Man versus everybody. Issue 12. There we go. Issue 13. So Wolverine is on the same new Avengers team with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is at this point still married, or at least dating Mary Jane. And Wolverine has that thing for redheads. So Wolverine, stay the heck away from Mary Jane. Issue 17. Remember this one. Spider-Man goes up against this basically Superman-powered character that I think was just a kid who'd been given the powers to become what he envisioned as a superhero, but his vision of what a superhero was very based on the very violent comics and things, and so that's a little bit of an editorial on some things that were going on in comics at the time. Issue 18 through issue 22. So issue 22. Then it moves on to I think the second edition, maybe second version of Sensational Spider-Man. Picks up with issue 23. There kind of moves it out of the Marvel Knights, and the other is a big storyline. Spider-Man basically, I can't remember all the details, but this is where he temporarily gets organic web shooters and things like that. His powers change. And got Marvel Knights 2001 Millennial Visions, just kind of a pin-up book there. Marvel Legacy. So they did an event called Marvel Legacy, and really all of it mostly was all the books jumped to the temporarily, for most of them, jumped to the numbering they would have been at if they'd never restarted their numbering. But they did have a one-shot kind of promoting the vibe that they wanted people to get from that. Got Marvelman Primer, just a little preview book of some of the Marvelman stuff that Marvel, aka Miracle Man stuff that they were going to do at Marvel at one point, which was going to consist of, in July 2010, was going to consist of Marvelman Family's Finest and Marvelman Classic Volume 1 Premier Hardcover Limited Edition. I don't think that all came out. think they got tied back up in some rights issues. Marvel Masterpieces by Joe Jusko. I was just mentioning this earlier. This is taking the artwork that he had made for the trading cards, and including 5 all new ones, and each page is just a pinup, and they did 4 of these. I don't know if it covers all of the cards or not. I would think it would if they were having to also do 5 all new paintings. There you go, just some beauty art. They did it again. I don't know if this one had anything to do with a card set, or if this was just, hey, here's some pinups. Issues 1 through 3. There. We've got. So this is Marvel Milestones, featuring Bloodstone, X-23, and Captain Marvel 2. So this reprints this is all reprints. It reprints the first appearance of the original Bloodstone, as seen here, and then it also reprints the first issue of the Bloodstone miniseries that introduced Ilsa Bloodstone, which is extremely expensive. So this is where this is my, at least I've got it in some form, copy. It also, for X-51, reprints an early appearance of her that's very expensive. I don't think that the early appearance of Captain Marvel 2 is all that expensive, but this is a good book to get if you just want to read those stories or have them in some format, because the originals are pretty pricey. Oh, here we go. Oh, X-51. I was thinking X-23. This is what's reprinted here. Well, this is what's reprinted here, as well as that. Okay, so this, and then these 3. And then next time we get into Dragon Lord. I don't know why anybody cared about Dragon Lord, but there you go. And they did a few of these one-shots, Marvel Monsters, just bringing back in the 50s. Marvel just did a bunch. It was popular amongst their audience to do these books where just monsters would attack. You think of your Godzilla and your King Kong. This would happen kind of every month, is some kind of kaiju kind of type monster would attack, and people would have to deal with it. And so this was bringing back that idea. And they did one-shots that each one-shot had the title of one of those old series. So this is where monsters dwell. This one was Monsters on the Prowl, kind of thing. This one actually has a superhero. So it does have some superheroes, and it has kind of these various superheroes who could, were monster adjacent. Bit of a stretch with Goliath, but he's a giant. And then there was this one that was kind of a handbook with outlining all of the monstrous kinds of characters, classic creatures that had appeared in Marvel over time. Groot's in here. There's Groot. And then, speaking of X-23 and speaking of reprints, so Marvel, really going back, in the, X-Men Evolution cartoon, they introduced the idea of a clone of Wolverine called X-23. So then they decided to bring that character into the main continuity, and they did it in this series called NYX, and which was depicted her in a very different way, because NYX was very, very gritty look at what superheroes on the street would be like, or mutants rather would be like on the streets of New York. and it had mature content. And so then within issues 1, 2, and 3, we have the introduction of X-23, the clone of Wolverine, and those are very expensive books to own, to buy. So years later, Marvel put out we're doing their run of Marvel must-haves, where kind of like facsimiles or true believers or whatever, where they were reprinting stuff. And those aren't cheap either, but they were at least less expensive. In fact, I had to get one that was kind of in fine condition. It actually had some tape on it that I managed to remove. The tape's no longer there. You can obviously see where the tape used to be, but that's issue 1 of this Marvel Must-Haves NYX, which is reprints issues 1 through 3. And issue 2, which reprints issues 4 and 5. Can't remember. I can't remember if it ends with 5 or I might have, originals after this, because there's a point where she leaves the series and then the rest of the issues aren't that expensive. So there you go. In Marvel Must-Haves, NYX. There. Then we have Marvel Mystery, one of Marvel's original series. Back when it was a 70-year celebration, they were doing, issues with new stories and reprinting old stories. So this is the Marvel Mystery Comics 70-year special. And that is the end of this box. Okay, so that was 103. Next time we'll get into 104. We will begin with Marvel Nemesis. We'll do some like Marvel Premiere, Marvel Presents, Marvel Spotlight, those series that were anthologies and would have various characters appearing in them. Great stuff. We'll get into Marvel superheroes as well. So thanks for being here. Hope you'll come back for the next one. Have a great day.